Greetings, gamers, and welcome to part number 13 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 10 Radiant Dawn. And in today's episode, I am going to be going through and finishing out the Shifu Swamp, as it is most necessary for me to venture forward, I think. Micaiah's 13th level. Not all that great, though she's literally about to cap magic. She's already over 20 luck. She's got pretty good stats this time around. Speed is not really that great, but that's unfortunately a side effect of Micaiah. Not really something you can do much about. Yes, and of course Nolan gets hit. Why wouldn't he? Okay, Bronze Dagger is doing nothing to these guys. Wow. How much defense do you have? It's pretty insane. Well, I guess I'm attacking with the Bronze Dagger. Would have been nice had I actually hit there. I would have done 10 extra damage. But oh well, what can you do? Of course, equip a steel sword. Now, Tormod's crew has quite a bit to deal with. I don't think it's possible for me to attack this wyvern from my situation. I could try, but honest to goodness, we're gonna figure out. Okay, cool. You want to take out the wyverns as soon as you possibly can. And part of the reason why you want to as soon as you possibly can is because the wyverns will go around and cause a lot of trouble for your green units here, which you do want to save. You want to spare them as best as you possibly can. Raphael can reach both, so I'm going to be able to KO all of these combative enemies this turn, which is super nice. She was one-shotting, and then she procced Savage. Great. Just what we need, Nyla. Okay, Vigor. Raphael is the first Heron you receive in this game, and he is by far, and I definitely need to say this, by far your best. There is nobody else who really comes close to how good Raphael is, because even though one of the other Herons particularly can Vigor for 4 units adjacent to him when they are around him, the issue is that requires him to be transformed, whereas Raphael vigors for 4 regardless. He can restore their vitality, which I think is a very nice trait. It does make for some pretty overpowered dancing, especially considering that the last time we saw dancing as powerful as it is in this game is in Genealogy, actually. Okay, so of course I do want to do my absolute best to make sure that Micaiah gets all the experience points she can possibly muster at this current moment. Steel sword. Well, I was half expecting him to, I don't think I have Adept on him. No, okay. I thought I put Adept on him. Nope, he's got Cancel. He could actually fit Adept. The problem is that, wow, not even doing enough damage. Impressive. 5 times 2, there is no way I'm going to be able to... it's kind of a shame. Yep, and Nolan's doing 10. I guess all I can do is get some chip damage in. Alright, Nolan, well, let's finish you off. Yeah, I guess Nolan can do it. I guess that's fine. This is one of those chapters where you kind of want to go your fastest. Not particularly because it is a hard chapter or one in which you must go fast, but the faster you do it, the less likely it is for these green units to suffer a KO. You kind of don't want that to happen because they are bonus experience points. And who doesn't love a good set of bonus experience points, right? Unfortunately for Vika and Morum, this is the only instance in the game until for like the next 20 or so chapters in which they are capable of... Well, actually, I think they can in chapter 10 on this, yes. I think you can bring them there. But it's still not that great, considering. So what I like doing is I like keeping Raphael near and just continuing to spam his Gulger. Reason being is because he only gets 10 experience points from it. Eventually, in my usual playthroughs, what I do is I like giving the Huron of choice a bunch of levels so that he can have more tools, though it's not really necessary. You don't actually need to have anything other than the very first Gulger, because the rest of them are just kind of like niche applications, like being able to restore people's biorhythms or restore Leguz's transformation gauges. That one is actually pretty good. Then I believe there is also one that allows you to full heal your teammates. There's a couple of different Gulger. None of them are all that necessary, but they're not terrible either. They're not like... It's not a total waste to have it, because also when you're leveling up your unit particularly, and this is just pretty well obvious fact, I actually think I need to KO you. Well, I can't even. I'll just KO you for now. You get more survivability. That's very important for the Hurons, because their survivability is actually in question, even in the late game, where almost all the enemies are magical based. It is one of the unfortunate things about this game, is that close to the end of the game, everybody is basically being bombarded by magic. It's one of the reasons why this game has such good magic growths on most of the units, because it makes sense. If you didn't, you'd run into a situation where you'd have units that wouldn't be able to deal with the enemies at hand. Not exactly good game design if that was the case. Luckily, that's not the case. You can very easily and readily deal with the enemies the game throws at you if you have properly trained units. Alright, so I think it is right here. Yes. The arm scroll. Need as many of those as you can possibly muster. I think it's very interesting that in Fire Emblem, the kind of thought process is that magical units don't take hardly any movement penalties in sandy terrains, like deserts and stuff of that nature, but they take very large penalties going through things like thickets. Edward, if this was a bigger chapter, I wouldn't even be bothering resetting. Just throwing it out there. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Not a moment too soon either. Unfortunately, one of these guys decided to take out one of the green units, which super unfortunate. But what can you do? Sometimes it's just going to happen. Morum over here is taking out this bad guy. And then I should be able to take out the wyvern who reinforced. It's always best to get rid of the wyverns as soon as possible. And Galger for both of you. Yeah, Raphael is not getting a level here, and I don't plan on necessarily abusing the fact that there are no turn limits on these maps. So it's very easy to level up the Hurons. It's tedious, but it is easy. If you wanted, you could get Raphael to level 40 in a very single chapter. The problem is you're going to have several hundred turns in it, because there are no turn limits in this game, which some would probably consider a flaw, and I kind of tend to agree. I know that there are a lot of people out there who like the idea of grinding in a Fire Emblem game, and there's probably people out there who would say, well, it isn't your business to take that away from anybody. Well, it's not really about taking it away from anybody, it's about the fact that it doesn't need to be there. It's an unnecessary and pointless thing in a Fire Emblem game. That's only your opinion. Yes, thank you for figuring that out. Oh, yeah. Alright, cool. Now I can KO good old Iron Bow. These two should both be able to reach Soth, who has the Tosser equipped. And Nolan needs healing. Better to be safe than to be sorry. I don't know exactly why I put Edward in the way. I just figured he would dodge, and he dodged neither. Fact of the matter is that Soth is a perfect unit for this little area here. He has the best resistance in your entire party. I think the only one who has better would be Nyla and Turonio, but Turonio is not accessible right now. Very nice level up. Very nice. And he dodged all three. Nice. He wouldn't have been KO'd even if he got hit by all three, but it is better, again, to be safe than to be sorry. Alright, so I don't think Vika is able to transform yet. Oh no, she is. Nice, nice. Finally, she can shift, transform, and start actually doing something. Legus are such unfortunate units. I really wish they were better. I don't know necessarily how to make them better, however. And that just has to go with the fact that you don't... Even the Royal Legus have serious issues. Like, for instance, Nyla. She has no 1-2 range option. Now, of course, there is stuff like Howl. Can immobilize an enemy unit for 1 turn after that enemy unit uses an indirect attack. There is stuff like that, but the problem is it's not any good, and it's also not reliable. It's not something you can attack with. It's a defensive hope and pray, the RNG gives you that kind of a buff situation, and it's just not good. Alright, this guy has 16 speed and 16 AS, so gotta be careful with him, that's for sure. This is a route enemy chapter. I could just go KO him. I say that, but I actually can't KO him. Let's use the iron knife here. No damage, that's quaint. Now, of course, he's just going to go after Leonardo, but now he is not. Get a little extra experience points with Micaiah. This chapter is soon to be over, so it's best to get all the experience points you can before it does happen to become over.
My force is overpowered. The enemy flanks with such passion. Is this another of the maiden's powers?
Unfortunately, Radman, your forces are overrun because we have superior forces here. It's really all that there is to it. Okay, so this should be my last turn because, yes, there is no enemy reinforcements, which is nice. That does mean it's kind of the last turn for me to get nothing. And nothing for you. I do believe there are some coins on this map, and I wouldn't mind getting them, but am I able to reach both is the question. I want to say there is one right here, maybe? Yeah, I think it's right here. So what I can do, put you here. Nothing. But I can also put Nyla here. Wouldn't mind getting both the coins that are over here. Don't need them necessarily, because you do get coins in this game. Just not very many. Okay, I got a coin. Cool. Gonna be using that soon, hopefully. And the last one is down over here somewhere, but exactly where is the question. I am assuming it's right here. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Iron dagger, bronze dagger, either way. Bronze dagger has no chance of missing, so that's perfect.
That wench, her powers must be too dangerous. She mustn't be allowed to.
Poor Radman. Defeated. At the hands of Soth, a lowly rogue.
We're nearly back to the camp. I wonder if the prince will overlook the fact that I insisted on this mission.
I'm sure he'll be happy when he sees the prisoners are safe.
Soth, do you hear a noise coming from the canyon? Is it people shouting?
Look up there. The maiden has returned, and the prisoners are with her. She won another victory. She escaped their trap and destroyed the enemy again.
Radiant with divine protection, she truly has the goddess's blessings. The silver-haired maiden, our priestess.
Priestess of Dawn, hooray, Lady Micaiah.
What could they be celebrating? It seems the soldiers are celebrating your liberation of the prisoners. You should wave to them. People like their heroes to seem approachable. It would make them happy. I'm no hero, but I see what you mean.
What a glorious sight she is! Lady Micaiah, the priestess of dawn.
Intelligence systems did their very best to try to shove in there the idea of the Dawn Brigade. All over the place.
Here you are. I've been looking for you.
Soth. After all those soldiers cheering, I feel like I'm doing real good here.
Micaiah?
Soth, please come quick. There's something wrong with Miram. Moram, get a hold of yourself. Look at me.
Little one.
This happens over and over. Moram suddenly transforms and he growls like he's losing his mind. And if I grab him and yell his name again and again, he returns to himself, but then it just starts over. And when he's growling, his eyes, they look... It's as if one of them is looking at me. Them? One of them? Who? One of who?
You can't mean. No.
Help him, please. I don't know what to do. The time between transformations is getting shorter and shorter.
My body can't. No, little one, get away.
No, I won't let you. I'll die before I let you go. Feral. Moram, look at me.
That song.
Raphael.
What? Moram.
The Gulder of Rebirth restores twisted bodies and souls to their proper states. He will be all right now. Thank you. Without Moram, life would be terrible. What was that song? It was different than when he sang before.
It was the Gulder of Rebirth. I heard it once before, in the war. But Micaiah, what's wrong?
I feel odd. Maybe it was the song. I'm shaking for some reason. But I'm truly glad that Moram will be all right.
Feral ones? In the Mad King's War, Dane's military developed living weapons. They were called Feral Ones, legues that had been warped and twisted by terrible experiments.
Terrible, you say? Do you mean to refuse the highly effective results of my brilliant research?
Then it was you. You secretly gave Moram the drug to turn him into a Feral One.
And what's wrong with that? Maintaining constant battle strength in beast state? How splendid.
How dare you! Transforming legues into Feral Ones dramatically shortens their lifespans. It destroys their sense of self, and they do nothing but fight until they die. And you gave Moram that drug.
Pawns need no sense of self. It's only natural to sacrifice soldiers for victory in war.
You twisted maniac. You are the lowest. Everybody, wait, please. Izuka clearly did a terrible thing to that that legues. I apologize. Tormod, I'm truly sorry. He will not use that drug again. So please, try to forgive him. Prince Peleus.
My prince, we must not have royalty bowing and scraping before swine like...
That's enough. Tormod,
Let him go.
Cyan, the Begnion capital.
I see. Is that true?
Yes, Apostle. Our occupation forces have engaged in appalling and inhumane excesses in Dayan. These excesses were perpetrated entirely outside the knowledge of the occupational governor, Duke Numida.
I come to you, penitent. Failing my duties as governor, I, Numida, share a measure of guilt for this disaster. I am prepared to take the appropriate punishment, Apostle Sanaki. However, I feel that freeing the people of Dayan from the clutches of our oppression is our most urgent task.
Urgent, you say? Then we must make haste. We will forthwith convene an inspection team and request a meeting with the army, led by the late King Ashnard's son. We will assure them of Begnion's intentions. Then, we will immediately address the occupation force's tyranny.
Excellent. In that case, please deign to allow me, your humble servant Lacane, to lead the inspection team. The soldiers who have stained the Empire's name will be toppled where they stand. I promise. They shall not live to return here.
That is unacceptable. I will decide the soldiers' punishment only after hearing their side. And I have chosen to appoint Sephiran, Duke Perses, to lead the investigation team. Is that acceptable, Sephiran?
I hear and I obey, my Empress.
What? But Apostle Sanaki.
This is a dire situation. Accordingly, I judge the Prime Minister, Duke Perses, to be more suited to the role than you, Vice Minister Lacane. That is all.
Lord Lacane, what shall I do? Duke Numida, my friend, I'm afraid you must sacrifice every last Begnion in the Imperial Occupation Army. What? That's ridiculous, but... blast that spoiled brat and her cunning little schemes. You'll regret this, Apostle Sanaki.
Some more beauteous experience points. I would have got quite a bit more had I made sure that other prisoners survived, but oh well.
Micaiah and her small band of fighters knowingly walk into a trap to save condemned Dayan prisoners. Even without the benefit of Izuka's vast information network, news of Micaiah's heroism in Shifu Swamp spreads like wildfire across Dayan. The once hopeless citizens of Dayan dub her the Priestess of Dawn and find their spirits restored. In their troubled hearts, they see in her nothing less than the promise of salvation. Throughout Dayan, the people rise as one against the brutality of their oppressors. Begnion's occupying forces cannot deal with open war on so many fronts. General Jared redeploys his men to key locations to better defend the capital city. Jared's forces still outnumber those of the Dayan liberators, and he has hardened his defenses in hopes of holding off Micaiah's army. The liberation forces fight with a fury not to be denied, however, and the occupation army begins to lose its will to fight. Breaking through enemy lines again and again, Micaiah's forces gain vital ground and momentum. Despite the anger Micaiah feels toward Izuka for his treatment of their Laguz allies, she continues to lead the army in its lightning-quick advance. Navasa is now mere days away.
Chapter 9, One Survives. Liberation Camp. Listen and be amazed. Big news afoot. The Apostle is sending an inspection team to investigate the occupation army's abuses.
Really?
She sent me a message that preparations are finally complete. But wait, it gets better. She also issued an imperial edict to the occupation forces telling them to cease all military action immediately.
Does that mean the fighting is over? That we've won?
Indeed, it's hard to believe it's over. It almost seems too easy. And best of all, Duke Perses is leading the inspection team.
We'll be home free the moment they arrive. Our worries are over. Duke Perseus, Lord Severin. So Apostle Sonic is dispatching one of the Empire's greatest men to handle this. What kind of man is he? He is amazing. The best person ever. He's incredibly influential and high up. But he never stood on ceremony with us. Well, go on, you guys. Don't just stand there. You have to spread the news. We have to spread the news? Aren't you going with us? Nah, it's mostly your doing. We'll hold back. Let you take the glory. It's Izuka, isn't it? You don't want to come because he'll be with the prince. Well, yeah, basically. Alright, but wait here. We'll come right back once we've announced the good news.
Dayan Keep. In light of which Her Imperial Highness Empress Sanaki has conveyed to you this edict. Occupation forces are to hereby lay down all arms, convene in Dayan Keep, and await the inspection team. Duke Namida maintains that your forces performed alleged abuses, independently, in flagrant violation of his orders. The Apostle in her mercy will hear your testimony. Do not abuse her magnanimous spirit, and lose your small advantage. Ha! What a magnificently ruthless maneuver. I didn't know Numida had it in him. Disowning the entire occupation army, and framing me for their actions. Brilliant. So then, the game is over. Might we at least drag Duke Numida down with us? Not a chance. We are proof that Duke Numida, and therefore the entire Senate, is corrupt. No doubt they'll work together to silence us. Besides, there's more tantalizing prey than those tottering relics. If I'm to fall, so too should the one who upended our plans and drove us to this dead end. That girl. Oh, I like that. Our final mission. You create a diversion with the troops tonight, after dark, and I will seek our target, the girl's silver hair, named Head. Liberation camp yet again. Silence. Silence is golden for this particular moment because it is time to cut off this episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.